FGFRC. This is going to be the maiden flight on the 1800 millimeter Ranger from FMS. But before we do that, the maiden on this, real quick, I want to apologize to the viewers. Some of y'all kind of got your stuff out of kilter because I use the term jailbreak on unlocking the Spectrum receiver for to make a Spectrum receiver. It's already preset for a regular plane, and then you have to jailbreak. I use the term jailbreak in order to unlock it, in order to get all the factory reset and all gyro, all those settings, as if you had bought that receiver brand new in a box and then put it into a plug-and-play plane. Some people were offended by using the term jailbreak. That's just a term. I was just using that as a term, and that actually comes back from back in the mid to late 2000s, like 2007, 2009, when the AR-36As and 36Bs were the sport receivers. They just produced that programming cable, and only a few people, myself included, knew how to jailbreak them and open them up to where you could adapt them to different planes. And that was the term that was used at that time. Spectrum didn't support it, but then now, of course, now they do. With forward programming and everything, they realize that people are smart enough to figure out how to do these things. And that's the reason I use that term, because that's what was used back then. There again, if that offended people, hey, I'm sorry. It's just a term. That's all it is. It was just meaning you're not doing anything wrong. You're just factory resetting, you're updating the receiver. And that was the whole point of that video, was just to show you how to factory update the receiver. And yes, I know I could have updated those receivers to the new 3.3 plus, but the point of the video was just to show you how to update it and how to get those options available. That was the entire point of the video. I'm sorry if that made a few people a little worried about terminology that I'm using. You got to remember, folks, I'm completely self-taught. I have no formal training whatsoever, okay? Everything I learn, I've learned from myself. So sometimes I make up my own terminology, and I make up my own, and I may not be calling something the right way, but it's what makes sense to me, and I show what works for me. You got to remember, I'm self-taught. No one's taught me anything. So the only, okay, I'm lying. I did have one lesson, and that was 25 years ago, and all I remember him saying was, take off into the wind and the land of the wind, and that's all I really remember. So, and small corrections, use small corrections. But other than that, folks, I'm self-taught. So sometimes I don't get it right by you gurus out there who are very technical about everything being just so. And lots of times I'm like Captain Kirk with a ship. I'm by the seat of my pants, and I'm fly by luck a lot of time, not necessarily by what's technically right. So, sorry, that's my rant. Back to this plane. All right, we're going to maiden it. I've got my throws set to 100% throws over 30% expo, all the way around on all control surfaces. Now, yes, I could be using flight modes to figure out the elevator to flat mix. It is much easier. However, I think it's important to learn the discipline of it first before you use the easy route of flight modes. All right, so on a high wing plane like this, I like to start with the default of takeoff flaps at 11% down elevator mix, landing flaps 22% down elevator mix, and then adjust from there. If I deploy landing flaps when I'm landing and she starts to balloon too much, then I know I need less mix on the elevator. If she still starts diving, then I'll need, or if she starts diving, I'll do more. Anyways, I'll adjust accordingly based upon what she does. But that's my usual starting point for a high wing. All right, timer set for 5 minutes. Let's get her turned around. And these little black patches on the end of the wings underneath are for easy lights to add to augment. Actually, the wind's out of the west now. To augment the lights that are already there. Running a 4000 HRB. Okay. I think that's more than good enough. And my receiver is an AR620 antennaless Spectrum receiver. This plane has the reflex system in it. Has a reflex version 2. We're going to do takeoff flaps right off the bat. Here we go. There's very like no wind now.
Flaps up.
All right. I'm in manual mode, so I don't have any kind of gyro stabilization. I just want to see how the plane flies, what kind of trim she needs. All right, a slight bit of up elevator is needed. That should be good. And now the wind's kicking up. All right. This is just a maiden, so there's not going to be too much in the way of... All right, I think she's okay as far as aileron trim. Still a little bit of up elevator. All right.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Let's land it. Had a little too much up elevator now. All right.
Landing flaps.
Don't really need landing flaps now that I've kicked up into the wind. All right. Maiden flight, takeoff and landing. Let's take off again. We're going to I want to test this flap mix out now. Maybe this wind will die enough for me where I can do that. And those tires are nice and large enough where we will be able to do grass hops. Shouldn't have any problem doing grass hops. All right, you want to be on the center of the runway, on the center line, the best that you can. Gives you the most recipe for success. And try to land in the middle of the runway. It's one of the reasons why they give you those lights. Those lights are the white lines. All right. I should do a knife edge, no problem. Oh yeah, should be a knife edge machine.
Landing flaps.
All right. All right. Landing flaps. Let's see. I'm kind of going into the wind though, so let's go away from the wind and see what she does. All right, she's really wanting to balloon.
Flaps up.
So that's too much elevator mix. So I need to lessen that down. Go ahead and land in the grass real quick. All right, we're going to pause for just a moment. All right, I adjusted the elevator mix to 42% down elevator instead of 22% down elevator. And we're going to see if that is, because she was just wanting to rise too much. Come on. That wind is underneath that wing.
Rudder is armed. Be careful.
All right, well, so far I have determined that 100% throws, 30% expo is perfect. She did need a little bit of, what was it, down elevator. So do takeoff flaps, take off from there.
Flaps up.
All right.
Landing flaps.
Oh yeah, I think I like that. All right, landing flaps are in. I'm going to put them, take them back out. Okay.
Landing flaps.
Yeah, I like that. She just barely rises just a little bit. So that's what I want. All right, landing flaps are still in. Yeah, oh, that's perfect. Yeah, okay.
Flaps up.
For flaps at a positive, let me look at my flap system here so I can tell you the actual numbers now that I've determined work great. Okay. For flaps all the way up is a negative 88%, just the way the wing is. For takeoff, negative 25% with 11% down elevator. And for landing is a positive 50% with a 42% down elevator. That's kind of weird numbers, but that's what seems to work with this particular wing. All right, still got 2 minutes. All right, now we're going to switch to
Optimized mode.
optimize mode. Now on my next flight, which I'll do here in a little while after I've flew something else, I'll do a stability or beginner mode demonstration where we'll land takeoff in the reflex version of safe and land in the reflex version of safe. But that'll be in the next video. I just mainly wanted to get the plane trimmed out. This is the maiden flight. All right, 2 minutes left. We're now in optimize mode, which is the same thing as AS3X in the Spectrum world. This is the reflex gyro. Staying on my rudder, a little bit of back pressure. There. Knife edge. Oh yeah.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Yeah, she's very locked in now. Great flying plane. Yeah, she's not being rocked around nearly as bad, and we have a fairly strong now west wind. Make them struts earn their pay.
Landing flaps.
So just show you how nice and slow she'll come by. All right, let's go ahead. We're gonna land in the grass, then we'll take off in the grass. Kind of do a coordinated turn there. Coordinated turn is just using all the control surface to try to turn as flat as possible. All right, perfect landing.
Takeoff.
We're gonna do takeoff flaps and land and take off in the grass. Hopefully. Full up elevator. There we go. Almost a stole takeoff. There, she'll fly inverted, no problem.
Landing flaps. Flaps up.
All right, shouldn't need takeoff on landing flaps now. The wind just kicked up again. We'll land back in that grass. No flaps this time. There, set her down with sore feet, like a butterfly with sore feet. All right.
Landing flaps.
All right, I want to get,
Flaps up.
keep that nose light. That's what I was afraid of.
Flaps up.
The plane has got some power.
30 seconds.
Or as Brian Phillips would say, power. Get to the chopper. And crab her on in there. Changing my perspective here, coming right at me. All right. All right, we only got 26 seconds left. All right, put the flaps back up. We're gonna end the flight there. Got 25 seconds left on a 5-minute timer. Okay, prop
Prop is secured.
Prop is secured. See, I hit my throttle. Nothing's happening. All right. Staying behind the prop. All right, to show you where I have the battery is basically this is the end. You can see the first black strap is on the very end of the 4000. I got 2 finger links between the front of the firewall and that 4000. Now, if I had a lighter pack like a 3200, I think you can go down as low as maybe even a 2200 4S, but I wouldn't. I would go with at least a 2600, honestly. But the lighter the pack, the further forward I would go. As long as you can reach CG is important. Okay, if you look up in here on the sidewall, see this hand here on this sidewall, there's an AR620. If you see that little orange light, the other way. That little orange light's the AR620 up against the wall there, up here on this window here. And then down here towards the middle and the back is the Reflex, which is the Reflex 2, which is the FMS gyro system with the 3 levels, okay? Obviously it has fixed gear. Show you where CG is. You put the hatch in. You tongue and groove this in first, pull the latch, and then drop down the front hatch. CG is 75 to 85 millimeters back from the leading edge of the wing, okay? To give you a landmark, there's plastic, this hard plastic doubler here. You can feel the very end of it. This plastic doubler, it's all white, so it's hard to see, but you can feel it. When you get past that plastic doubler, that is your first point of CG, and then put a full pat of your finger length back from that plastic line, where you feel the hard plastic, and that's your CG, which is actually 75 to 85 millimeters back. So when I put my finger there, I'm gonna put it right on hanging over the edge of that hard plastic, okay? When I put my finger there, as you can see, she CG's just perfect right there. All right. So if you had a lighter battery or smaller battery, you've got room to go forward. If you wanted to put maybe a 5000 in there, you could go back just a touch, because that first battery strap's the first one. There's another one further back, so you could go a little further back. But very successful Maiden of the FMS Ranger 1.8 meter. Oh yeah, we're gonna check the battery, see how much is left. We flew for 5 minutes and what, 45 seconds, or 35 seconds. 4 minutes and 35 seconds. All right, let's check the battery. This is a 4000 HRB 4S with a 60C discharge. Okay, got the spectrum checker. Oh gosh, we got 57%. We're gonna go up and take off 2 more takeoff and landings, just because I wanna burn a little more of that battery. Remember, put the black in first and then the hatch. Okay, let's go ahead. You know what we can do now? We'll go ahead and do that safe mode demonstration.
Stabilized mode.
Stabilized mode is what they call it, all right? That means I can't, okay?
Prop is secured.
All right, let me show you stabilized mode. Watch the elevator. As I pick up, see how that elevator is holding position? that would self-right the plane. Watch the ailerons. As I turn the ailerons, they're holding the position. That would self-right and level the plane. So that also means I can't turn the plane upside down.
Motor is armed.
All right, so let's go ahead, get turned around, and we will take off in safe, in stabilized mode, which is the same thing as safe, and then we will land in safe. Now I'm not gonna like this because as my level of pilot, I don't have the control I want, but this is ideal for a beginner. And the nice thing about this plane is that, well, several nice things. She's big enough to where you can see her real well. All right, I'm gonna take off. I didn't have to barely touch the elevator. I just barely touched the elevator.
10.
Okay, got just a little bit of down pressure on the elevator.
Greg, land the plane now.
All right.
Landing flaps.
You know what?
Top.
I'm gonna go around one more time, and I'm not gonna worry about flaps because a beginner wouldn't use flaps. Okay. But my fingers are off the sticks right now. Now they're back on it. Out of my power, down to about a quarter power, eighth power, just kind of gliding her now. Just a little bit of throttle, and just gliding her on in. Just a little bit of throttle, just enough to keep the discipline, a little bit of back pressure. And look at that. Okay. Landing in safe, takeoff in safe, and
manual mode, optimized mode.
Now I'm back to, come on. Our crabgrass is like Velcro.
Prop is secured.
You can see that whole front wheel has disappeared and she's dug in.
Motor is armed. Be careful.
All right, we're going to do a stall takeoff. I'm back into AS3X motor optimized mode. There.
Flaps up.
Proof that safe is not on. Nice little knife edge there.
Landing flaps.
All right, I'm the only pilot here, but I will get off the runway. I don't want to hit myself with my own plane. All right.
Flaps up.
Well, folks, there's several things I know I'm probably leaving out,
Prop is secured.
but I definitely want to consider that as a very successful maiden and a good demonstration of what you get when you get this plane. I want to say I paid $329 for her. I think that's what she cost, $329. I know I paid 100% for it. Let's see behind the prop, see what kind of juice is now left in the tank. I took off and landed a few more times. Okay, 39%, and we flew almost an additional minute. So 6 minutes, easy, flying her hard. 5.5 minutes if you're conservative. Still, that's plenty of time with a plane in the air. And folks, that is the FMS 1800 millimeter Ranger, loosely modeled after a Cessna 150. You aviation gurus can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I believe it is. I could be wrong. And also, if you find they've improved these skirts, they used to be real loose and they would rattle, but these skirts are really tight on there, and I didn't notice any rattle on them. Also, she does have reverse thrust, but if you'll need a 7-channel receiver if you want to do that, because you have flaps. So there's your 5th channel. The reflex takes up your 6th channel on a 3-position switch. So if you want reverse, you have to have an open physical channel for that, because this is not a Spectrum Smart receiver. This is just a regular receiver. I mean a Spectrum Smart ESC. So it's a regular ESC, so you have to have an open physical channel if you want thrust reverse. But for a plane like this, really that only helps with floats, in case you get into some weeds, you need to back out of it on the floats, which this is supposed to be a great float plane, but I don't really do much with water planes. I wish I did, but all right, folks, y'all have a good, and God bless y'all. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is great, and God bless y'all. Bye-bye.